Oh, crap.
I wake up every minute with the fever dreams. I push my mind to a limit where it needs to feed. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be.
Wow, that was rough.
Yeah, that was.
That was live TV in action right there.
That was me not seeing that we were live. We're not live yet.
I
And
kept
played
telling
it
you,
one
whoa,
time.
whoa, but then I realized, oh wait, I'm not on
I couldn't hear
camera
you.
anymore.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, it's 9:30. It's Tuesday night. It's time to go behind the hedges. I'm your host Mitch, and I'm here tonight with Papa Gator himself, Ethan over here from SEC Bias, and our resident Tater, Mikey down here, who graced us or something with Rocky Top. So hope you all
I can
enjoyed
actually
that.
sing much better than that.
Yeah, I sure, dude. we'll go with that. So yeah. Anyway, little strange show tonight from Behind the Hedges. My normal co-host Matt is not with us this evening. He had a medical event this week. I'm gonna just go ahead and tell his tale. What do you say? First of all, let's bring this orange bastard on the screen. Welcome top half of Brandon's head. Oh, and welcome bottom half.
Lower half.
Yeah. Matt's out tonight. He got himself a case of the surgery, and he overdid it. And so he said that he would contribute to the opioid crisis in America. And so he's taking the night off. Anyways, here I am, and this is Brandon, Mikey, Ethan. Welcome, guys. We are going to talk tonight a very little bit about Georgia, because this is a Georgia show. But then we're going to move on, and we'll talk about whatever you guys want to, and then we're gonna do some picks. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Great.
Okay, cool. So yeah, where are we? Let's see. Georgia started the season strong, had a little rough patch. Then they played Auburn and Vandy, and as Ethan said, that'll fix you up. That'll put you back where you need to be. And honestly, Georgia has looked better. So 55-0 win over Vanderbilt, and that is, oh my gosh, what is it? 2019 was the last time that Vandy scored against Georgia, and 2018 was the last time they scored a touchdown against Georgia. So Vandy is, what do you say?
There's not much to say.
They started the season really strong, and they look like they could eclipse their projected win total. I mean, I think somebody
Well, they already have.
have they?
Yeah.
What was it? 2.5 games? Was that the line? 2.5 games. And so what they're at now? They got 3 wins on the season.
Yes.
Could they get another one?
I hope not.
You hope not. Why? You got money on them?
It's something like that. Maybe a little bit of skin in the mix, as it were.
Oh God, yeah, I can't, dude. If you're putting money on Vandy anything, you are a degenerate gambler, sir.
I thought there was a tattoo involved or something like that.
Yeah, that whole part.
Was it? No, I think Vandy had to get bowl eligible before Mikey.
No. It was 4 total wins or 2 SEC wins.
2 SEC wins.
Boy, is that a tall order for them.
Man, I'm about to be a fan though.
Every game they have left, they just need to go 2-5.
Yeah, they got an easy schedule ahead of them. They got to play Missouri.
No, they need to go 1-5. They need to go 1-4 in their next 5.
Who's left on their schedule they can beat? Missouri,
Missouri,
South Carolina, and Florida, probably.
Maybe Florida. I wasn't going to say it, but Ethan just offered it right up.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to beat us, but if our defense just rolls over and plays patty cake again, anybody can beat us.
What were we saying about 3rd down conversions? Do we need to bring that up now?
No, we can continue.
Ouch.
Hey, what's up, Jeff? How you doing,
What's
man?
up,
It's a sort of a loose show tonight, but thanks for tuning in. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about, Jeff. Tell us where to go. Yeah. So, gosh, I guess that's all there is to say about Georgia. We got some guys that are going to be getting healthy over the bye week. The bye week is coming at a good time for us. We've had some guys that are dinged up, not like major. We do have some major stuff, but we're not expecting those guys back. But folks like Jalen Carter, A.D. Mitchell, these are dudes that we were trying to get healthy for that tough stretch. We got Florida, Tennessee, Kentucky, Mississippi State coming up back to back after the bye week, and that's a tough stretch. So we want to be healthy going through that. So hopefully this is I do believe that this bye week is coming at a good time. So yeah. Anyways, anything of note happened in the SEC recently? Any news to discuss?
Well, apparently Tennessee had some unregulated field goal posts that were
Oh yeah.
They had to take those down and replace them with a.
and throw them in the
There's
river. Yeah.
field goal incident.
There was an incident. There was an incident. I don't want to steal any of your thunder, Brandon, because I know you guys have a show coming up on Thursday night. Very Orange live stream. Tune in on Field of Streams here, people. By the way, go ahead and take an opportunity to like, share, and subscribe and all that good business if you haven't already. Yeah, we need you folks on here, especially you, Jeff. Get in there, talk to us. So yeah, Tennessee won a football game. What about that? How do you feel, Brandon?
Oh, I'm elated.
This guy's still on cloud
Can't you
nine
tell?
right now.
How do you feel?
He could cancel the rest of the season. He'd just be like, "Yep, that's fine. We've done it."
How does Ducati feel? Because
Bro, I'll be honest with you.
He's still on the hook for that.
He's on the hook. He'll own it up to it.
I believe you. I believe you.
What I don't watch Game of Thrones, but who always pays their debts?
The Lannisters.
The Ducatis. The Ducatis always pay their debts. Yeah,
Well, my
he'll pay his
question
debts.
is, after that beginning, like if he's on the hook, was on the gaff or something? I mean, what's going on? Is the harpoon in?
Yeah. Dude,
I mean, Ducati, he's already. I at least added the caveat of beating Bama and Georgia to mine.
Mhm.
I might still join in on the festivities though, just because I was pretty confident Bama was going to get some orange ass this weekend, and I'm proud of you boys. Quality loss by us.
It does feel good, speaking from experience, that it does feel good to get that monkey off your back. Having said that, what is it? In their past 5 SEC matchups, Bama is now 3-2.
Oh yeah,
that's
they
a real
were
thing.
definitely on the. I forget who wrote it, but they weren't going to get away with playing like that forever.
What you mean?
Being sloppy on defense.
Putting 2 on Hyatt. Is that what you're talking about? The plan?
Yeah. That poor kid. He went back and forth between looking like a superhero and looking like a super zero.
What are the odds both UGA and Tennessee make the playoff? I mean, I suppose there is a path there, but it would require a lot of things to happen.
Yeah.
It would be similar to the path that Alabama took to the playoffs in 2017. Georgia beats Auburn for the SEC championship, but Bama has only the one loss, which was to Auburn, and so they sneak in. So it would take Georgia or Tennessee having the one loss, and then I guess what that would mean.
I would say the better odds would be. Sorry, Mitch, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No. I was just trying to play it out in my head.
Either Bama drops another SEC game and then they're 10-2 in the SEC championship game, or UGA beats Tennessee and then beats Bama in the SEC. So then Bama has 2 losses, and then you have UGA and Tennessee sitting there. I think that would be the most likely.
That would probably, you're right.
Scenario.
That would probably, or to have or somehow get. Well, I don't know. You could look at Mississippi State, or sorry, Ole Miss being undefeated in the SEC championship game, and then Georgia beating Ole Miss, knocking them down to 1 loss, and then having Tennessee and Ole Miss having 1 loss each, but Tennessee would have the better win, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, Ole Miss would have to beat Bama to get there.
Yeah. They would still both have beaten Alabama.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right. So I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. I guess is the answer
Yeah.
to your question. Jeff.
I think the more likely scenario is that there's only 2 teams, and if it's
I haven't done enough PCP to be on the.
I can't imagine that. I figured you've been doing PCP consistently since Saturday.
I'm surprised you're not coming to us live from like a gutter somewhere, just passed out in Knoxville.
It's not even Brandon. It's just a live stream of his corpse.
Running around wearing someone else's underwear.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that is all. Right. So we're going to get to some picks here pretty soon, I think. But wanted to talk about there's a big Clemson game coming up this weekend, Mikey.
Yeah.
Clemson and Syracuse. And I think it's one of the games we're picking tonight. But how many undefeated teams are left right now? 12?
Something like that.
And I want to say that there might not even be 12 right now. Somebody quickly look that up for me. I don't know.
I'm counting 8, 9. Yeah, I count 9.
So
You got Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan, Ole Miss, UCLA, TCU, Clemson, and Syracuse.
Okay, so UCLA is playing Oregon this weekend, and Oregon's favored. And Oregon's not a bad football team, but if they could take out UCLA, Oklahoma State is also undefeated. Is that right?
No, they lost to TCU.
Okay,
Yeah,
TCU is undefeated.
They just lost.
Who is TCU playing? They got somebody on the schedule that could beat them.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch. In other words, a bunch of the undefeated teams are putting their on the chopping block this week, and we'll see. And Clemson and Syracuse, something has to come out in the wash there, right? Somebody's leaving there with an L.
Yeah, TCU
TCU's
plays
got
Kansas State.
Yeah. Okay. So 1, 2, 3 possible teams that with a loss coming. Then you got the week following. You're going to have Georgia and Tennessee, and who knows what else around the country. So some of these undefeated teams are going to get cold out over the next couple weekends. So this playoff picture is the thing that everybody thought it was at the beginning and all that. We're a long way from having anything carved in stone. When do the college football playoff rankings come out?
I thought they came out tonight, but it could have just been
Is
a I saw it on ESPN. I didn't watch it, so I guess that's kind of my bad there. I had to watch Wheel of Fortune instead. But I thought I saw a show on it. Yeah.
Let me see. When will the college football playoff ranking schedule? When will they be released? Here we go. 11 hours ago, it was updated. Okay. The first poll will come out November the 1st. Tuesday, November the 1st. Oh, it's like
week after next.
Be the week after Georgia, Florida.
Yeah.
So a couple of more weeks still. All right, and then you'll probably have. Hey, Jeff's cutting out too early, man. We're just getting to the picks, bro.
Stick around.
Here come the picks, man. Okay, so I think
we're about to find out your team and make fun of you.
He said. What did he say? He said, we really need Carter back. So I'm assuming that he is
Georgia.
He said, "What's up, guys? Go Dogs!" Yeah. So So Jeff, welcome to the show. I think he might have just joined us from one of the Bulldog groups. So welcome aboard. Let's see here. Where am I? Okay, let's do them in order like this. What do you say? So I need to make my little noteses here. Syracuse and Clemson. And Clemson is a 13.5-point favorite at home. Both teams undefeated.
I'll go first. If this was a Carrier Dome, I would think Syracuse could cover that, but I think Clemson's got the 13.5 for sure.
All right. Brandon, you wanna follow that up?
Yeah, I assume Mikey's getting top billing on this. Right, Mikey?
I got notes, man. I got
Oh,
notes.
Oh,
Do you have copious notes?
Copious notes.
Boy, I feel underprepared.
Should tell
I'm
me all
usually
about
the
it.
one doing what Mitch is doing.
Just getting back from a Halloween parade. That's what you're normally doing.
Yeah, you know. Me and my Michael Myers mask.
Hmm.
Oh, 13.5 against Syracuse. Man. Mikey, is Clemson's defense going to show up to this game?
I think that we should all be back healthy. I mean, I know we got a couple starters back last week. Brzee was back. That being said, he was coming off the death of his sister and then 2 weeks of a pretty bad kidney infection, from what I understand. So
Yikes.
he clearly was a step or two slow, and that showed. I mean, chasing Travis, there were a couple of sacks that he would have gotten where he could wrap him up. I think, but
All right. So I say, Clemson, they're going to feel like they got something to play for this weekend. I think that defense will show up. If everybody's healthy, everybody's coming back. I think they just might cover that 13.5. I think they might win by 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
Like someone once told me, 2 touchdowns.
Okay. I think I'll let Mikey go last because this is his team or whatever, and I'm just gonna, out of spite, pick Syracuse to cover but not win for no reason at all. It's just that's a lot of points.
Big dick.
13.5. That's a lot of points.
I mean,
Though
if you look at
I do think that DJU has been playing much better recently in recent days. So I will acknowledge that, and Will Shipley has looked pretty good himself. So cheers to you, sir.
Yeah. Well, if you look at the statistics, on paper, it's almost a dead heat. They're rushing for about 10 more yards a game than we are, and we're throwing for about 4 more yards a game than they are. We're giving up way more passing yardage, but that statistic is skewed by that Wake Forest double overtime shootout. We're not giving up anything on the ground. They're not giving up much more than we are. Right? We're winning the turnovers. We're only giving the ball away about half turnover a game and picking up close to 2. Scoring is 38.6, 33.2. It's going to be as evenly matched as possible if you look at it on paper. But then when you consider that they score 63 against Wagner, whoever that is, and
it's just a guy. It's just a guy named Wagner.
It's a guy named Wagner. And then they also put up a pretty high number against UConn as well, which is one of the bottom 5.
Which is just a guy named UConn.
Right. It's actually a vehicle by GMC.
An empty automobile. Right.
Yeah, and Furman and Louisiana Tech are by no means powerhouses either. We do have a common opponent in NC State. They were ranked number 12 they were ranked number 10 whenever we played them, 130-20. They were 15 last week, and Syracuse was 24-9 without their starting quarterback. So I think on paper it plays out to be a closer game than I think it actually will be on the scoreboard. said, still 2 touchdowns is a lot.
Say that again. You said you cut out on me there.
I said, on paper, it plays out like it should be a very close game, but still 2 touchdowns is a lot. I'm going to take Syracuse in the points.
Whoa! And that's the show, folks. See you next
Wow.
week. Jesus, I picked Syracuse to be contrary. Jesus, I would have picked Clemson in laying 21 points if it was just me on camera. Wow, dude. All right, cool. Okay, up next.
But clearly, and the points. That's the operative.
Right. Oh yeah. Without a doubt, you're not money line. You're not getting any of that action, are you? So 3:30 game. We got a 3:30 game here. Is this the CBS game? I can't remember.
Has to be. Yeah.
It looks like it.
Yeah. There's the other. Yeah. I guess you're right. So this is odd to me, guys. I saw this and I had to look at it several times. Number 7 undefeated Ole Miss is traveling down to Baton Rouge to take on the Bayeux Bengals, who are favored by 1.5. What in the ever loving hell is that? I'll take the first stab at it if you guys want me to. Dude,
What you know what I think of the mighty Bayou Bengals?
Sure, I'm yeah, and the thing I feel like that Ole Miss probably thinks the same thing. Ole Miss has looked rather good this year. They have 2 legitimate running backs. We all knew that Zach Evans was going to be a good pickup for them, or at least I think we did. But dadgum, what's his name? Judkins, Quinshawn Judkins. Is that his name? Did I say that? Quinshawn Judkins. Anyway, that kid is a freshman, and he's all that, right? He has done the work. Jackson Dart, I'm not a believer, in yet, but he ain't bad. He ain't awful, okay? And they are playing pretty good defense. And they got a nice little offensive situation going on. And I just think they look like a pretty good football team. I cannot believe LSU is favored in this game, given how poor they have looked at times this year. Gosh, I mean, Auburn jumped out on them 17 points, for God's sakes, and I'm not sure that if we hadn't shown up to the game until the middle of the second quarter that we would have been in a 17-point deficit against Auburn. So I have to take Ole Miss here. I mean, it seems, am I missing something?
It's in the middle of the afternoon. It's
me personally. LSU looked really good.
Yeah,
they did. They looked
That's my
better than when
takeaway
they
from
played
it.
But
LSU looked like they might be a playoff contender on Saturday night.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah, had their little warm up game before they play Ole Miss.
Got their legs stretched out real good.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I guess.
If I'm being honest, Ole Miss has played one of the softest schedules in the country. So
okay,
far.
that's true. That's fair. That's fair.
Like we were talking about, kind of weeding through the undefeateds. Ole Miss, let me pull up their schedule. I looked at it the other day, but it's been a couple of days. So far, their best win would probably be Kentucky, which that's.
I still think that's a good win.
It's a good win for sure. But
because they beat Kentucky with Levis. They beat Kentucky with Levis. No excuses, right?
Yeah. It was a 3-point win over Kentucky. So they beat Troy 28-10, Central Arkansas 59-3, Georgia Tech 42-0, Tulsa 35-27, Vanderbilt 52-28, Auburn 48-34. Don't get me wrong, being 7-0 is good. Out of everybody that's still undefeated, I would probably say Ole Miss has played the worst schedule. Like Kentucky was their big test, and they had to get some luck to get past Kentucky.
That's
Kentucky
true.
fumbled it inside their own. Yeah, so
like 3 times, right?
Yeah,
they
like
turned it
3
over a bunch of
times. Yeah. So I mean, and letting Vanderbilt score 28, letting Auburn score 34.
Vanderbilt led them at half.
Yeah, like they're undefeated, and that deserves respect. But at the same time, LSU's gonna be by far the maybe Kentucky is equivalent to LSU. Maybe they're close. Maybe Kentucky's slightly better. LSU probably has more talent. But yeah, I mean, I think LSU could win this game by a touchdown. I mean, it just depends. Similar to what we saw with Tennessee Bama, you let Lane Kiffin or Josh Heupel get receivers running down the field free on you, and you don't keep stuff in front of you, you're gonna have a bad time. And if LSU does that and keeps things in front of them, they'll have to kind of lean on that running game, and then you got to go into LSU's interior. I don't know, scary place to be. Scary for us at least. So I think LSU can win. I mean, I think it's just going to be one of the first undefeateds we see go down. Would be my expectation. It makes perfect sense to me.
Are you taking LSU?
Yeah, I would take LSU here.
Okay. I like that we're just picking the opposite. I'm gonna let you go first next time. I'll take whoever you don't pick. Okay. What about it, Mikey?
With all respect to our friend from in Chattanooga, I love Lane Kiffin, and I would probably take a bullet for the man.
Oh, geez.
And I think Ole Miss is. No, they haven't played anybody really, and they lost some bad games close. I mean, they've won some bad games close, but I haven't seen LSU do much of anything to impress me yet. So I'm going with the Rebs.
Well,
hopefully it's not a trap.
I mean, it's starting to look more and more like a trap. Ethan did flesh that out. I mean, look, I don't like default teams. I'm sorry, Brandon, but I'm going to circle back for just a second. I'm not going to change my pick. I just want to say that, like, yeah, you can play a soft schedule. That's fine. But when you play a bad team, the only thing you can do is beat the crap out of them, right? Like that's what you're supposed to do. You get a Vanderbilt. You're supposed to beat 55-0. That's what's supposed to happen, right? And when that, so play the soft schedule, whatever, blah blah blah. If you look that they're playing a soft schedule, that doesn't indicate to me that they're soft. What indicates to me they're soft is they're not handling that schedule. And Vandy, like I said, Vandy led them at half. So okay, fine. I see these positive things. Yes, they got a surprise freshman running back who's doing all right, and they're they seem to be clicking. They've had moments where they flashed brilliance or whatever. They did beat Kentucky. You're right. Kentucky had to help them a little bit, but like they did beat them. And I'm high on Kentucky. So I get it. I get it. I just don't think LSU is that team. So there you go. All right, Brandon, what about you?
All right. Since nobody mentioned this really, I think this is a defensive football game.
Okay.
Ole Miss, that quarterback's not playing that great. He's doing all right. They got a little bit of a running game. I think if LSU shows any kind of defense, they win this toss-up. The problem is them showing any defense, and thus far, I can't, just despite my nature, my yearning to not pick Ole Miss. I got to go with Ole Miss on this.
All right, you heard it there, folks. All right, fair enough. Ethan, you're the odd man out.
I'll take it.
Okay, that's how you can make up ground from that that Clemson pick, that terrible Clemson pick. Okay, so welcome back here, 3:30. Number 9 UCLA at number 10 Oregon, who is favored by 6. Wow, I love this matchup. I don't get excited ever about Pac-10, Pac-12, Pac-10.
Who the hell knows anymore?
Pac-5 now, aren't they?
Pac-5. Yeah, I don't care about any of that. But this is an intriguing matchup. UCLA has looked pretty good at times. Oregon came out of the gate and just got their guts strewn all over the field in the first game and have quietly worked their way back to a very respectable top 10 position right now. Bo Nix is looking pretty good. Offense is scoring a lot of points. What do you want? You want to take this one, Mikey?
Sure. Yeah. Wow, Bo Nix is looking pretty good.
Say that again.
I said Bo Nix is looking pretty good.
He has looked good.
No, he is. He looked pretty good for Auburn.
Listen, we only tell the truth on this show, Mikey. I don't know if you realize that or not. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. You got Chip Kelly going back into Eugene. So, I think he can prepare the team well for going into that environment, which Alton Stadium is a pretty raucous crowd. Way more than what the Rose Bowl would be for the home game, I think. That means I'm not really high on anybody from the Pac-12 other than Utah, and Florida beat Utah. But
what does that mean?
Ethan agrees.
That means they're basement dwellers.
Nope. Utah's going to win the Pac-12, and then that's going to be our win. That's going to be the crowning achievement of our season.
Utah's going to win the Pac-12, so they're by default.
Technically, Florida is the real Pac-12 champion. Yes.
Yeah.
SEC.
Now I like the Ducks in this one. Yeah, just give me Oregon.
Okay.
That's all I got.
All right. Yeah, I'm looking up some numbers while you're doing that, Mikey. I'm putting you down for Oregon. You only got to give away 6 points. They're both defenses giving up approximately the same amount. Or UCLA has given up about 344, and Oregon's given up about 377. Let me see. So here's what I wanted to find. This is what I'm looking at. Okay. Oregon, though, is number 8 in total offense, 512.5 yards a game. Where does UCLA fall? Not in the top 50. Oh, actually, I lied. They're number 12, so 505 yards.
A lot of offense.
Both teams have a lot of offense and tend to give. I mean, they tend to move the ball at the same rate. Tend to let the ball be moved at the same rate. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. I am going to trust Lanning. I'm going to trust Lanning to get the job done here. I'm going to pick Oregon. I don't mind laying 6 points. What about it, Brandon?
Well,
Sorry about that.
all you ever hear about.
Did you just catch on fire?
I know. I wiped my mouth with a napkin, and then I brushed the speaker against my beard, and it was chaos.
We did that stunt with the COVID mask the other day. Matt and I did, and when we were off camera, Matt got his mask hung around his little mic thing, just slung his friggin' headset across the room. It's like, Jesus, it was a whole mess. Anyways,
you got to leave the stunts up to the professionals, I guess.
Right, that's us. That's when we make the big bucks.
Look, if you knew how many times at work I'd slung my glasses off, taking a mask off, coming back in nurse's station or something.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it.
Oh, those things are a pain in the ass. Well, all 4 of us are wearing glasses, so you all know.
Just realized that. Where's your beard, young Brandon?
Yeah.
Can you grow one of those yet, son? So, who are you picking in this game? The Ducks or the Bruins?
As I was saying, all you ever hear about, like USC, UCLA, it's just their lack of fandom. Like 8 people show up for their home games.
Mhm.
So they're going into Oregon, which is just known for that 12th man kind of deal.
Mhm.
I think that alone gives Oregon enough to win. But that 6 points, I think, yeah, I'm going to take the Ducks.
Okay. All right, Ethan, here's your chance. You got everybody on Oregon. What are you going to do?
I mean, I'm going to take UCLA, and I'm going to give you a statistic.
Tell me the padlock stat, as Josh Pate would say. What is the padlock stat here?
So Florida is 131st in third down conversion percentage.
Okay.
Oregon was 127th. And I think that despite their overall numbers, maybe not, I mean, they're still pretty bad for a Dan Lanning led team. But I think that much like Florida, their inability to get off the field against an offense like UCLA is going to be problematic for them. And I think UCLA maybe not wins. I can't call a win outright, but they definitely cover.
Okay, that's fair enough. I will say in that first game of the year we had was it 8 possess? Yeah, it was 8 possessions, and they went. First 7 were all touchdowns, and the 8th possession was a kneeling down. You know what I mean? That was it. So they never once looked like they even attempted to stop us. It was just knife, hot butter. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I just feel like they've looked a little better since then. So we'll see. Oh, I can't wait for this. I cannot wait for this one right here. Clash of the Titans. The sequel.
Titans.
The Shitans. Clash of the
Clash.
Shitans. Here's a trivia question I learned today from our good pal Uncle Lou. All right, on YouTube. If you go back and look at the last 14 SEC games played by all 14 SEC teams, who has the worst record over that time period?
Vanderbilt.
Yeah, that's easy. They're 0-14 in their last 14.
I don't like where this is headed.
You don't like where this is heading? Who's got the second worst?
Missouri. South Carolina.
It would be Florida, man. Florida is 3-11 in their last 14, and Missouri is 4-10. So there you go. Bottom feeders.
Sorry, Ethan.
Hey, man, one of those 3 wins. You're on a pretty special.
One of those
list
3
there.
wins. Actually, 3 of those 3 wins are against teams from the state of Tennessee. So I think you guys need to start scheduling like Middle Tennessee, Chattanooga,
Hey, man.
UT Martin.
Yeah.
Hey, the Mocs
use
take
some.
on Bama this year.
There you go. Go Mocs.
We're hoping they win.
Yeah,
Go Mocs, go.
Somebody will win. Okay, so Vanderbilt and Mizzou. Let's say what needs to be said. Who wants to start this? Anybody?
I don't even want to start this.
Go ahead, Brandon. I'm listening.
I mean, this is the I don't give a shit bowl.
Things look different when you're on top of that rocky top mountain, huh?
Look at him.
Vanderbilt. I like Vanderbilt's quarterback. I still like Vanderbilt's quarterback.
Mike Wright.
If they could ever find protection for him somehow, get some kids to just trick him that this is Knoxville. You get these guys over here to protect him.
Yeah.
Something. They'd be hard to handle. That's not happening, but I still like their quarterback. He's got some wheels on him and a pretty decent arm.
Okay, that's fair enough. Yep.
But I mean, Vanderbilt's they're the bottom of the barrel.
Okay.
I mean, it's hard to.
I'm only going to use one statistic for all of my picks going forward, and that
That's
is going to
third-
be
third down
whichever team has the better third down conversion
I
percentage.
love it. I love it.
Missouri is actually 7th in the country. Vanderbilt is 124th. So I will take Missouri in the 14 points.
I like that. I like that pick. Here's a problem with Missouri, and they are a matchup nightmare for Vanderbilt. That sounds strange, whatever. But the thing defensively that Missouri is capable of doing is cramming everybody in the box and shutting the run down. All right. Offensively, they do have Luther Burden, and he can be a problem. Okay, their quarterback is not great, but he can throw the ball to Luther, and Luther can do things with it, right? Their running back, that what's his name, Tate or Pate or whatever, I can't remember. Nate something. Nate Pate.
I think.
I don't even. I don't know. Nate Pete, is that something? Something like that.
Like that.
He's okay. He's okay. He's got some wheels. He's the guy that fumbled going across the goal line against Auburn, right?
This is when I rely upon the comments and someone to chime in.
Somebody watching out there, let me know.
Some Missouri fan.
His name's like Nate Pete or Pete Nate or something like that. Okay, doesn't matter. He's like 4-letter names, all like Nate, John, Pete, or whatever. And anyhow, he's got some pretty good wheels on him. The problem with Missouri is they can't score touchdowns. They're going to have to kick field goals. So they're going to win this game by shutting out Vanderbilt and kicking 5 50-plus yard field goals. All right. Is that something Missouri can do? Yeah, that is something Missouri can do. So I like Missouri to win. I don't think they're going to cover 14. All right. So I'm going to take Vandy here. Ooh, I'm taking Vandy in the points.
Yeah.
And you know Vandy's gonna be mad this week. They just lost a squeaker, so they're gonna come out really, really hot.
This is their Super Bowl right here.
This is their Super Bowl. This is time for them to get off the schneid. They're coming for you, Florida man.
I ain't worried about Vandy. I can say one thing confidently, and that is I ain't worried about Vandy.
That's the thing.
I can't tell you what quarterback's going to show up if our defense is going to get a stop. I can tell you I ain't worried about Vandy.
Yeah.
Okay. How about it, Mikey?
For the record, Mizzou's running back is Nathaniel Pete.
Nate Pete.
And
there we go.
Their backup running back is Taj Butts.
Taj Butts. Oh, I needed to say something. You were talking about Brandon. You mentioned that Mike Wright, the quarterback from Vandy. You like him. There was a guy that I wound up liking who actually played his butt off against us the other day, and his name is Orgy, defensive player whose name is Orgy, and I think he wears number 0. That's all. That's all I got.
Come on.
On that note, Mikey, I do want to point out that Missouri has Taj Butts on their team, Mike Cox, Cox, and then BJ Harris, all in the running back room.
BJ Cox and Butts.
No, Mike Cox, Cox. Yeah. And then Taj Butts and BJ Harris. I don't know how anybody keeps a straight face when they're
Mikey and I went
keep it classy on here.
No, I meant when they're doing film review. I mean, I don't know how your coach is just screaming out, "Mike Cox is hard." Yeah,
you gotta pound it. So,
by the way, give me Vandy in the points, but
Mikey staying on track.
Yeah,
no, because I'm gonna Mitch to get to the story that he's about to tell.
Mikey and I went to college with this guy who played on our Quiz Bowl team. His name was well, his last name was Dickey, so we'll just leave it at that. But Dickey didn't get the joke. He always wanted. Dickey reminded me of like a mixture between Beavis and Butthead. Like you could just mix them into one person. That was him. So he always wanted to make the prank phone call. He's like, I don't want to call him. I want to tell him that my name is Mike and my last name is Cock and Balls. And we're like, why wouldn't your last name be Balls? You know? He's like, that doesn't make any sense. You can't reason with that. Mike Balls. Okay, so
Well, this show
because
isn't
Mike
monetized anymore, but that's
yeah, we just lost all funding. Corporate sponsors, where the phone is lighting up over here, man.
Milo's will not
Milo's is
stand
out.
for this.
Titleist hasn't heard yet, but I'm sure we'll all wake up to the emails in the morning. French's mustard is gonna stick it out though. All right, Brandon, you got to choose between Vandy and Missouri. What do you?
Oh
what do you
yeah. I think Missouri's gonna get him.
All right, they're gonna roll them.
Yeah.
Okay. To be clear, I'm picking Missouri to win. I just don't think they'll cover the 14.
Oh, me too.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Fun one. Here we go. 7:00. Your Mississippi State Bulldogs, number 24 ranked, versus they got to go to Tuscaloosa. What is that? What is that stain on my screen here? It looks like something in front of the word Alabama. It's like a little squiggle. What is that? Oh, that's a 6. I see. Oh, never seen one of those before.
Yikes!
But the Fighting Sixes, are favored by 21 points. Do you all buy into that narrative that Saban's really mad after a loss and he's going to take it out on this team? And yeah, is that something that you? How do you feel about that?
My take on it, and it's really not a hot take or anything. I mean, I just feel like after a loss, teams, coaches, players, everybody's more focused. Everybody realizes, especially when you're the top dog, everybody realizes, all right, we're not invincible. Like when coach tells me this, I need to pay more attention, need to focus, right? All the things that people pretend like athletes and players are just robots and they just do everything 100% all the time. And if you don't, then you just get benched. It just doesn't work like that. So, I mean, I think losses, especially a loss like that in a lot of ways was, 17 penalties. Like if you're a player and you're on a team and you commit 17 penalties, your entire week of practice is going to be awful.
Yes.
And
yes. You're going to have
when
a
you
bad
have
time.
a hard ass like Nick Saban coaching you, I'm sure that these guys are ready for Saturday to get there because they're probably sick and tired of running stadiums and bear crawls and whatever else he has them doing. So I think it's more that. And I think that it skews it because Saban generally has the best team. He has a mega talented roster. I mean, 20 years now that he's been, since his 03 title with LSU, that he's been leading one of the best teams in college football every year. So when your winning percentage is 80%, and then you tell me, oh, but this is his record after a loss. That's his record almost all the time anyways. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like things change. So I don't buy it for any coach, really. I mean, I think that everybody focuses in, and I think the best of the best focus better. But I don't think that's unique to Nick Saban at all.
So does that mean you're taking Bama, or are you taking Mississippi State?
I'll take Mississippi State. 21 points, that's a lot of points.
Just delivered the soliloquy.
Yeah.
By the way,
that's almost as good as my thing on Clemson in the first game we picked.
Yeah. I like them Tigers. They so good. I'm taking the orange. They ain't even got a mascot. They're a color.
This also works for my previously ordained. I'm using one metric because Alabama is second in the country in third down conversion percentage.
I tell you what, I don't want to take anything at all away from our orange friends to the north, but I do want everyone to understand, them included, that the performances that Bama has had this year have been. It's like you could feel this coming. Okay, the Texas game. Quinn Ewers doesn't get hurt. What happens? I don't know. But he did get hurt, and they won by 1. Okay. What about the A&M game? A&M has looked worse than pedestrian, like incapacitated for most of the season, and Bama can't do anything with them. They had to come down to the last second of the game. And they've obliterated all the other teams that they played, except Arkansas kind of got stuck in their crawl there for a little while. 17 penalties though, and also they're one of the most penalized teams in college football this year, which is very un-Alabama like. So there was an article I shared in the chat earlier today. It was about how Nick Saban questioned why the guys weren't chanting. They said when they come out the tunnel at the beginning of the game, they're always chanting. They're always getting themselves hyped up, and they're coming out to play Tennessee, a big game, a big rivalry game. And these guys aren't chanting. Their heads are somewhere else. Their hearts are somewhere else. Whatever you want to call that. And dude, I have coached in a former life. I believe that. I believe you can get you can put your finger on the pulse, what's about to happen, just by looking at your guys and saying, okay, this is how they feel, And Alabama felt something different going into that Tennessee game, and then as the game goes on or whatever, we kept, Matt and I are constantly texting each other during these games or whatever, and the chat's going and all this, and I'm like, okay, Tennessee jumped out to this big lead here. Now here comes that that trademark Bama surge. They're going to tie it back up, and then they're just going to chip, and pretty soon they're going to be like way up ahead of you in dust. You're going to be choking on their dust, right? We've just seen it too many times, right? And sure enough, here comes Bama, right? And they do tie it up. They actually took a 1-point lead at some point, and then when Tennessee scored and went for 2, I was like, oh, here we go, and they got it. I was like, man, that was massive.
Did we ever get an answer to that? Did y'all miss an extra point or something?
No, they kicked
2 field goals. Oh,
yeah.
okay. Because it was 28-28, and then y'all scored it. No, it was 28-28, then y'all scored a touchdown, and then it came back because me and Ducati were talking about it. Hold on, let me look this up. I'm sorry.
Go
I
ahead.
might not have said we missed an extra point after a touchdown.
Oh, is that what it was? You guys missed?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because they never talked about it. They never brought it back up. Like the whole rest of the way, it was 34-28, and I never saw you miss a field goal, and they never talked about a missed field goal. And so I'm just like, where the hell did this come from? Because usually in a game like that, gotcha. Okay, because usually in a game like that, they would be like, "Oh, the missed field goal is going to come back to play in a role. It's going to loom large." Yeah, they just never brought it up. So I was like, "Okay, I don't know. I guess." But okay, that makes sense.
So back to the narrative here. Like Tennessee had to weather a Will Reichard field goal attempt with very little time left on the clock. And Reichard has been a good kicker for them. All right, pretty atypical for Bama kickers on the whole, but he's been a good kicker, and he missed it. And then Tennessee had that much time left, and they were able to hop down the field and kick one of their own. Well, a very it was the ugliest pretty field goal that I have ever seen. Right, it was a knuckler, right, and then Tennessee gets a win and then trots off. All right, if ifs and nuts, or ifs and buts were candy and nuts, right?
Right.
If ifs and nuts were candies and butts,
I'm game.
yeah, Mike Ockenballs would have a great.
We'd be celebrating him every 3rd of July.
Yeah. So Tennessee had to have a lot of things go right for them, and they did, and they got the win. And Tennessee played great. Don't get me wrong. I might save some of this dialogue for the upcoming Georgia game. You think Georgia's going to give you 17 penalties and missed field goals and things like that? Not cover Jalen Hyatt. I don't know. We got 2 weeks to talk about that. I don't know. We'll see. But gosh, what am I going with this? Yeah. So Bama. Josh Pate, I've said this before. I quoted Josh Pate. I'm gonna quote him again because I like the guy, and I think he says smart stuff. Teams play good after they play bad. That's basically it, right? And Alabama played bad. They played bad, and I think that they are going to play good. and I think that Mississippi State is about to catch them hands, right? And I like Bama to roll in this one. All that I said a lot of words.
Well, that's what. With all that being said, though, what about Mississippi State and how good they've looked this season?
They have looked good at times. Yeah, they've looked pretty good. Found them a running game there for a little bit.
Yeah. I just don't know about that 21 points.
Is that a lot of points for you, Brandon?
I mean, I would love personally to see Mississippi State win this game.
I'm willing to entertain that. Okay, I'm willing to entertain that. I believe that Bama could have another loss lurking on their schedule. It's possible.
Well, I think that loss belongs to Ole Miss.
It might. But also, they got to get through LSU and Auburn and Mississippi State. Listen, ne'er one of them teams scares you individually, but the prospect of having to beat all four of them in consecutive weeks, that's not a small task. You know, that's a big ask of anybody, especially a team like Bama who gave up the most points since 1907.
You know, one thing for me was watching that Bama-Tennessee game. I feel like Tennessee played, and this might sound a little silly given the stats that you guys put up, but I feel like you guys may have played the worst game that you have played all year in terms of Hooker threw a pick, y'all had the fumble, scoop and score. Bama had 17 penalties, so it was really two teams that, despite putting up like 600 yards of offense and 100 points, I don't feel like either one of y'all really played a perfect game. Like, obviously,
Oh, no.
Bama played a worse game than they're capable of, in my opinion. I feel like the version of Tennessee, like the fact that y'all were able to beat Alabama despite playing a not 100% game. Like,
Well,
usually that's been the recipe for success is you have to be 100% and you have to win every one-on-one. You know, Ole Miss getting the tip balls for touchdowns, you know, Georgia getting to play them without their top two wide receivers. You know, you need a little bit of luck that has to bounce your way a little bit, or else you're just never going to beat Bama, right, guys?
What if I'd have came onto the show? What if I'd have came onto the SEC bias show last week, Ethan, and I'd have told you, I'm come from the future, and I can tell you this: Alabama will have a scoop and score, and they will also have an interception. They will also intercept Hooker. If I'd have told you just those two things,
Yeah,
well,
I would have
nothing else.
thought it would have been a 2-touchdown win for
Yeah,
Bama.
Anybody would thought, oh well, then Bama's going to mash them into the mud, right? Like that would have
Like,
been
my line of
reasonable.
thinking would have been the only way Tennessee wins is to match Bama score for score. And I mean, y'all didn't have to do that. Like, literally, you had to turn not even just a turnover, you had a scoop and score. I mean, and to still pull out that dub. I mean, to me, you can't say enough about it. I mean, I think it shows the fallibility of Bama. I mean, I think that the fact that you know, a team that, no offense to Tennessee, you guys won, you guys beat us, you guys beat Pitt, but you didn't really beat Florida or Pitt in dominating fashion, or at least we made it close at the end. And to be able to show that against two teams that are nowhere close to Bama and then still play not all the way up to your highest possible potential and still beat Bama, that's damn impressive. And I think that shows Bama is a little bit more beatable than I thought to start the year.
Yeah, it's impressive. I think it says more about Bama than it does about Tennessee. I think that's I still think it's impressive. I don't want to take anything at all away. I think that Bama is worse than we thought.
Yeah, I think Tennessee's better than I thought. I mean, I'll say that. Like, Bama's definitely worse than I thought. Tennessee's definitely better than I thought.
So what about it, Brandon? You going to lay all 21 of them points or what?
Shit.
Can we get a clock on this guy?
Yeah, can we get a clock?
Come on, man.
Call the floor over here.
Flip a coin.
Let's go with that Roll Tide roll.
All right.
I think they'll win this. I don't think they'll beat Ole Miss when they play them.
Okay. Okay. How about it, Mikey?
Got a
Floor.
twinkle in my eye. Oh, come on. I had 3 seconds.
Come on, man.
Give me the Bulldogs and the points.
Jesus. All right.
Smart man.
This is going to be well, I like that the picks are all over the place. Not everybody just aligned.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I got those written down there, fellas. Okay. So other games. I think South Carolina is playing Tammy, right? A&M's going into Bad Columbia this weekend. Is that right? And I can't remember the other SEC game. I think there was one
Damn,
other.
I'm glad that's not a pick. Who are they favoring in that game?
I think A&M was favored by 3.5 when I saw it. And then Tennessee is playing. You guys are playing UT Martin. I think that wound up the SEC slate. And there was no line. I couldn't find a line on Tennessee and versus Martin. You guys, doesn't matter. You just beat them. Just win. Just win. That's all you gotta do. Just win.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me and Dren will be at that game.
You going to the UT Martin game?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Make sure to make some videos.
I rub elbows, baby.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys are going to talk on Thursday about meeting Coach Heupel.
Yeah.
That'd be
I'm
cool.
going up there Wednesday.
Did you guys know that? Did you know that Brandon and Dren met Coach Heupel? Brandon got something signed. Did you get was it your hat? That hat right there?
Put it back on.
Look at that. It says very clearly says Josh Heupel.
Oh yeah.
And
I think I'm gonna get that thing signed.
What is it?
It's a painting I made with UT on it.
Oh, it looks like mom's spaghetti.
Yeah.
So Dren got to ask him a question, right?
Dren did ask him a question.
That's hilarious.
I talked about.
Imagine.
We need to submit questions for your show tomorrow about what question we all think Dren actually asked Josh Heupel. Don't tell us. Let us all make predictions, and you guys can read them on air.
Like Balderdash.
Yeah, exactly.
One of
I
these
will
things
tell
is
you,
true.
I talked that man's ear off about Field of Streams and our
Josh Heupel?
Yes.
You talked to Josh Heupel about Field of Streams.
Yes.
That is endlessly funny to me.
And the ladies basketball coach, whose name I cannot think. Dren said, "Hey, that's her. Go talk to her." You got a comment.
Did
Is it Josh Heupel? Is Josh Heupel commenting?
Maybe.
What?
Did
I miss the
Dren
comment?
ask
No.
him if he ate Nate Dibble or not, or was that it?
Oh. Hey, before we get out of here, because we have already hit the hour mark. Mikey, do you have anything to share with us? Any news or anything like that? Do you want to play us out?
No.
Okay.
Definitely don't want to do that. At long last, Tom is back in Blink 182.
Nice.
And, new music coming soon. That's pretty rad. Get your flu shots if you haven't already.
There you go. Okay, so what time?
Watch out for this seasonal allergy thing going around, because it's also a pain in the ass. Whatever's brewing up out there.
And I live in Florida. We got way worse things than that. Our seasonal allergies have chlamydia.
Oof.
No, I know. My brother lives in Florida.
Everything in Florida has some Never mind. I wouldn't even go down that road. You guys get the picture I'm painting.
I understood your comment. Yes.
It's all mutated to hell and back.
Yeah. Everybody out there, tune in tomorrow night. SEC Biased. They have their own Facebook page. Go like them and follow them, and we'll be sharing their broadcasts through Field of Streams as well. And on Thursday night, the Orange guys, young Brandon and the super genius Wiley, will be singing Rocky Top. I'm quite sure. Man, good win, Tennessee boys. Thanks for joining me tonight. It's been more fun than I thought it would be. Maybe even though if it's not quite as fun as hanging out with Ducati.
Maybe a little less Georgia focused than you're used to, but
what else?
We tried to stay on topic.
I'm glad that you were able to get on this week, Ethan, because I got a feeling you ain't gonna want to be around here next week.
Hey man, I'm committed to it now.
You're committed. All right, boys.
It's part of the routine now.
Well, I want to knock off for the evening. I've enjoyed it with you boys, so we will see y'all all on the flip.
Take care.
Tigers.
Bye.